if a person cannot handle the sight of flesh, you know the person shouldn't go to the beach. Do you understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense? If you can't handle flesh, you don't go to the beach. And to go to the beach, when you know you can't handle it, have you noticed we can be really stupid sometimes? If there's material that I know I shouldn't read, I should stay away from establishments that carry that material. Does that make sense? Hello. I'm trying to engage in a dialogue here. Does that make sense? Yes. All right. If I know that I need to stay away from tobacco because it's killing me, right? I'm going to stop going to stores that sell it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So when I know what's best and place myself there anyhow, if I shouldn't go to the beach, but I go to the beach, I have put myself in the path of temptation. Does that make sense? All right. That is stupid, and that's where the foothold begins. Footholds begin when we stop thinking properly. And it's a choice that we make. And please understand, this is not, boy, I didn't expect to find myself here. This is, I have chosen to put myself here. Now listen, people put themselves in the path of temptation for one reason. They want to be tempted. All right? So don't think you're just being super holy by putting myself in this place where I'm tempted so I can prove that I can overcome it. I don't believe you. You're putting yourself there so that you can be tempted. Anytime I place myself in the way of temptation, I am doing it on purpose, and my goal is to be tempted. That's just the way human nature is. Okay? This is just human nature. And once I put myself in the path of temptation, what a shock! I'm enticed to give in to the temptation. Now, is that really a shock? No, it's not a shock. But the path has started. I put myself into a place where I knew I was going to be tempted, then I'm enticed to give in to that temptation. And of course, because I put myself there because I wanted to be tempted, I am choosing what? I'm choosing to fall to that temptation. I'm choosing to sin. See, it sounds a whole lot better to say I've fallen, but the reality is we've chosen. We've chosen to sin. And once we've fallen into that temptation and chosen to sin, we find that we have failed ourselves and we have failed our God. Now, this all makes perfect sense. Now, here's the kicker. Once we fail, the devil will start talking. Whispered in our ears, oh, you're a failure. Oh, you're a failure. And by the way, is he telling the truth at that moment? Yes. Yeah. Now, it is possible for us to have noise going on all around us. And we can hear it, but not listen to it. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Okay? You know that there can be noise going on and we just don't pay attention to. But the problem gets to be with this noise, sooner or later, we start to listen. We start to listen. And as we listen to these messages of hopelessness or of failure or you're not good enough for God, I mean, you can hear this dialogue playing out, can't you? You wanted this all along. You're not a godly person. You don't belong to God. How could you possibly be part of God's family when that's what you want to do? And come on, let's stop kidding yourself. You wanted to do that. You wanted to be a part of that. You wanted that in your life. You are a hopeless failure to God. You're useless to God. This is the stuff that he says. Because there's enough truth in it, we start to believe it. We start to believe it. Now listen, we ought to know better. We ought to know better. But we start to think, I can't change. And as soon as we say, I can't change, we lose hope. I lose hope, you lose hope. We start listening to the hopeless message of the enemy of God, and we so quickly lose hope. Well, once we've lost hope, and we figure we can't change, we decide we might as well just put ourselves right back in that place of temptation, because really, what's it matter? Doesn't matter. I'm lost as it is. So what's one more loss? What's one more failure? It doesn't matter. I'm without hope. And so what we find is this is not just a linear path. You know, the first this, then this, then this, then this. Not only is it that linear path that leads to death, right? Once we have fallen into that temptation and given way to sin, it's a sin process, and when sin is full grown, it gives birth to death. So we know we're on that path to death. It's also a circular path, and it's a spiral downward path. And so we put ourselves into the place again, and we are enticed to give in to that temptation again. And now it's just easier and easier and easier to fall and to fail. And the hopeless cycle really grabs hold. And that which we toyed with now masters us. And the stronghold is there, and the devil has influence over our lives, and he can direct what we do simply by urging us to move towards that temptation. And I got to tell you, that sounds pretty hopeless, doesn't it? I mean, the path of the stronghold seems to be easy to trip on, walk down, and get stuck in. Well, the question that comes to my mind is, can it be broken? Can the cycle be broken? Can the stronghold be broken? Am I really lost and hopeless, or is there still hope? Well, please hear me. Please hear me. In Jesus Christ, there is always hope. And so even when you feel your worst, even when you are at loss for hope, look to Christ, because He gives hope. Yes, of course there is hope. Truth and Christ's authority make all the difference. And can I say another word for authority, and we've talked about this before, is power. And Christ has real power. Divine power. Divine authority. It goes beyond the authority of men. He has all authority. Remember, all authority in heaven and earth has been given to me, says Jesus. And because it belongs to Him, He makes all the difference in the world. All we need to do is turn to Him.